Imagine this, you're on a cruise ship living the dream. The sun is shining, the ocean breeze is warm, and you're lounging by the pool with a cocktail in hand. You've just docked at a beautiful island, ready for a day of exploration and adventure. It's the perfect vacation, right? But hold on. What if I told you that this paradise might come at a much darker price than you think? What if everything you see, the luxury, the endless buffets, the smiles, is hiding some serious secrets that the cruise lines don't want you to know? What if I told you that beneath the picture-perfect exterior, there's a world of isolation, danger, and untold struggles that you're never meant to see? Keep watching, because by the end of this video, you'll never look at a cruise ship the same way again. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you want more eye-opening travel secrets, this is the place to be. Stay tuned, because what you're about to hear is the truth behind the curtains of the cruise industry. Number 1, the glamorous illusion of cruise life. We've all seen the glossy advertisements, right? The endless buffets, the beautiful decks, the incredible destinations. It's the dream life, the ultimate vacation. It's easy to think that cruise ships are the perfect escape. Everything you could ever want is right at your fingertips. Picture it now, lounging by the pool with a cocktail in hand, exploring exotic islands, and enjoying 5-star meals as the sunset paints the sky in brilliant colors. For most people, it's the ultimate getaway. The promise of relaxation, luxury, and adventure, all wrapped up in one seamless package. Who wouldn't want to experience that? But here's the thing. Behind all the shiny brochures and smiling faces, the reality of life on a cruise ship isn't nearly as perfect as the picture they paint. While guests enjoy their paradise, there's a world below deck that most people never see. In reality, crew members live a completely different life. While you're lounging in your cabin, they're working tirelessly behind the scenes. And it's not the glamorous work you'd expect. Picture this. Cramped, windowless rooms where crew members sleep, barely enough space for a bed and a locker. The same crew members who serve your meals, clean your cabin, and manage the daily operations of the ship. They work long hours, often stretching well beyond the typical 8-hour shift, with little rest in between. They barely get time to relax, let alone enjoy the same luxurious amenities that guests do. While you're enjoying a late-night buffet, they're cleaning, scrubbing, and preparing for the next day. For the crew, it's not just about working on the ship. It's about living on it, often for months at a time with little to no time off. So, while the glossy exterior might suggest a dream life, for many people living on the cruise ship, it's far from it. Behind the pristine decks and endless entertainment is a world that's anything but glamorous. Number 2, the hidden life of crew members. While guests are basking in the sun, sipping cocktails by the pool, the crew is working tirelessly below deck. Their world is far from the luxury you see above. It's hidden away, tucked behind the pristine decks and perfect smiles. Imagine this. Cramped, windowless rooms where crew members live. Barely enough space for a bed, a locker, and a few personal items. No windows to the outside world. No fresh air. Just the constant hum of the ship's engines beneath their feet. And this is where they spend their time off. When they're not working, they're in these small quarters, unable to leave, isolated from everything and everyone. But that's just the beginning of the story. Crew members are expected to work long, grueling hours, 10 to 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, without a single day off. They're up before dawn and still working long into the night, all while guests are enjoying the luxury and relaxation the cruise promises. And for what? Minimal pay, no time to recharge, and constant exhaustion. But it's not just the hours that take a toll. It's the isolation. Imagine being cut off from everything familiar, no time to check in with family, no real sense of connection to the outside world. The cruise ship becomes their entire life, and for months on end, they live in a world where personal connections are rare. Imagine not hearing from your loved ones for weeks, maybe months. For many crew members, this is the harsh reality. The mental strain this puts on them is often overlooked, but it's real. Long periods of isolation, constant physical labor, and the pressure to maintain the perfect experience for guests take a serious toll on their well-being. They don't have the luxury of a real break, of stepping off the ship to unwind. They're stuck in a cycle of work, sleep, and minimal downtime in conditions that many would never expect. So, while you're enjoying your vacation, the crew is doing everything they can to keep the ship running smoothly, often at the cost of their own mental and physical health. Behind the scenes, their lives are far from the idyllic paradise that you see above deck. Number 3, the dangers you don't see. The cruise ship environment might look like a paradise on the surface, but underneath it all, it's a breeding ground for illness. People from all corners of the world board these ships, carrying with them all sorts of bugs and germs. Flu, norovirus, even COVID. And with thousands of people packed into a confined space, the germs spread faster than you might imagine. Think about it. Pools shared by hundreds, buffets where everyone is grabbing from the same trays, crowded elevators, and communal spaces where no one thinks twice about touching the same surfaces. When someone gets sick, it doesn't take long before the whole ship is exposed. These ships are designed for fun and luxury, not for health. So when a virus or infection spreads, it can quickly become an outbreak that the ship's medical team might struggle to contain. But it's not just the spread of illness that makes life on a cruise ship risky. It's the complete lack of proper medical care for serious health conditions. The medical facilities on board might be great for small injuries like twisted ankles or the occasional stomach bug, but they're not equipped for long-term care. If you have a heart attack, a stroke, or any other major medical emergency, the cruise ship's clinic won't be able to help you. That's when things get serious. You could be in a life-threatening situation and need to be airlifted off the ship for proper treatment. And let me tell you, getting airlifted off a cruise ship can cost you tens of thousands of dollars. That's not including any medical expenses that follow. So, while you're on board thinking you're covered, the reality is that you're just a few bad decisions away from a potential disaster and a massive bill. But the dangers don't stop there. Now, let's talk about something no one wants to think about when they're on vacation. Crime, theft, assault, even worse. Cruise ships are a safe haven for people from all walks of life, but that doesn't mean they're free from criminal activity. From petty theft, someone stealing your wallet at the buffet, to more serious crimes like assault or even worse, these things happen on cruise ships. The problem is that cruise lines don't want you to know about it. They work hard to keep these incidents quiet, to protect their image and their bottom line. If a crime happens on board, it's often swept under the rug. You might never hear about it, but that doesn't mean it isn't happening. There are reports of missing passengers that never make the news. There have been instances of violence that get handled behind closed doors. Even if something happens, the investigation may be closed quickly, and you'll never get the full picture of what went down. The cruise lines don't want to deal with the negative publicity, so they downplay incidents, often keeping passengers in the dark about potential threats. Imagine this. You're walking through a dimly lit hallway at night. The ship is quiet and you feel isolated. In the shadows, you see someone who makes you uncomfortable, but you brush it off, thinking nothing of it. This could be a harmless encounter or it could be a threat. And without proper security measures in place, it's hard to know who to trust when you're on board. That's the reality of cruising. Illness, crime, and a lack of adequate care are dangers lurking just below the surface. And while the cruise industry may work hard to maintain that perfect image, the truth is, these risks are very real. So, the next time you think about booking your dream cruise, ask yourself, are you really prepared for the darker side of life at sea? Because what they don't tell you could be the difference between a dream vacation and a nightmare. Number 4, the dark truth about mental health. But here's the dark truth, the most dangerous secret of all. Crew members often suffer from severe mental health issues due to the isolation and stress they face daily. Imagine being stuck on a ship, far from family, friends, and any real support system, working long hours in a toxic environment where the pressure never stops. For months on end, you're surrounded by thousands of people, yet you're completely alone. No time to rest, no time to heal, no time to think about anything other than the next task at hand. This is the reality that many crew members face. They're isolated, living in cramped conditions below deck, with no real outlet to process the stress and exhaustion they experience. And it's not just a minor inconvenience. It's a mental health crisis that goes largely unnoticed by the passengers who board the ship with no idea of the struggles happening behind the scenes. But there's more, something far more insidious than just the long hours and isolation. The most frightening part of this whole situation is that there is no mental health support for these workers. No therapy, no counseling, no way to talk about the emotional toll of living and working on a cruise ship. Imagine carrying the weight of depression, anxiety, and loneliness, yet having nowhere to turn for help. Cruise lines, in their endless pursuit of profit, don't want to acknowledge the toll this takes on their crew. Mental health support would require resources, trained professionals, time for therapy, and an acknowledgement that there's a problem. But addressing this would mean admitting that their crew is suffering, and that's something the cruise lines want to avoid. Why? Because it could hurt their bottom line. Could change the way people see the cruise industry, and they don't want that. So the silence continues. As a result, many crew members battle mental health issues in silence. They suffer from depression, anxiety, and even suicidal thoughts, but they have no one to talk to, no way to get the help they need. They're forced to continue working, to keep up the illusion of a happy, perfect cruise, all while their mental health deteriorates. And for those who finally snap under the pressure, well, that's another part of the story that never makes the headlines. Now, you might think that this doesn't affect the passengers, but it does. The mental strain on the crew can have a significant impact on the entire cruise experience. These workers are under intense pressure to perform, smiling, serving, cleaning, entertaining, while carrying the emotional burden of their own personal battles. And when they finally reach their breaking point, the consequences can be catastrophic. When a crew member snaps, it's not just a personal tragedy. It affects everyone on board. Imagine being a guest on a cruise ship and not knowing that the person who's been serving you all week, who's been smiling and making your vacation perfect, has been fighting an emotional battle behind closed doors. Imagine the crew member who's been under so much stress that they make a dangerous mistake, put lives at risk, or worse, someone gets hurt. The worst part? These incidents are often swept under the rug, covered up to protect the image of the cruise line, while the crew member's suffering continues in silence. This mental health crisis is something that cruise lines don't want you to see. They don't want you to know that the workers who make your vacation possible are struggling every single day. It's not just about long hours or living in cramped conditions. It's about the toll that isolation, stress, and a lack of support take on their mental well-being. So, the next time you set sail, think about what's really happening below deck. Think about the lives of the crew members who are doing everything they can to keep the ship running smoothly. And remember, they might be smiling when they hand you that drink, but behind that smile could be a lifetime of pain and suffering that's never acknowledged, never addressed, and never seen by the passengers who make it all possible. Number 5, the cost of living the dream. So, after all of this, is it really worth it to live on a cruise ship long term? You might get the illusion of paradise, but you're paying the price in ways you never imagined. The reality is far from what the glossy advertisements show. Yes, you can live rent-free, travel to stunning destinations, and be surrounded by luxury, but there's a hidden cost to this so-called dream life. For starters, the isolation takes its toll. Imagine being cut off from your loved ones for months on end, with no way to truly connect with the world outside the ship. You're constantly surrounded by people, but it's not the same. The friendships you make are temporary, and you never really feel at home. The physical cost is just as heavy. The long hours, the lack of sleep, the constant pressure to perform, it all leads to health decline. Crew members often face exhaustion, stress, and physical strain that takes a serious toll on their bodies. Working in such a high-pressure environment with little time to recover can lead to serious long-term health issues. And then there's the financial side. Sure, living rent-free sounds appealing, but it's not without its financial traps. You may find yourself stuck in a cycle of spending to make up for the emotional isolation. The ship offers endless entertainment and opportunities to shop, dine, and splurge. But in the end, you're still paying for it, whether through your mental health, your body, or your bank account. The dream might seem perfect, but when you weigh the emotional cost, the physical toll, and the financial strain, you have to ask yourself, is it really worth it? The truth about living on a cruise ship is far from what the advertisements show. It's not all luxury and relaxation. It's a tough, dangerous, and often isolating life. Behind the glamorous exterior, there are hidden challenges that no one talks about. If you're thinking about cruising long-term, make sure you know what you're getting into. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever experienced something like this on a cruise? Maybe you've seen things that didn't match the picture-perfect image? Drop a comment below and share your story. Let's talk about it. And if you want more eye-opening travel secrets, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'll be diving into more topics like this, revealing what the cruise industry doesn't want you to know. Stay safe, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one.